This is Agnimitra Paul. First of all, I want to thank Institute of Engineering and Management and Smart Power Talks for inviting me here. It really feels wonderful. I'm a designer based out of Calcutta, India, and I've been working as a designer and also as a social activist using my skill of designing. I started my career in 1997, but before I talk about my career, let me talk a little bit about my childhood. I belong to a very small town called Asansol, which is around 4 hours from Kolkata. I come from a very middle class family. My parents, we are 2 sisters. Dad is a doctor, pediatrician, mother a homemaker, and I had a little sister who is 6 years younger to me, now settled in UK. My schooling is from Loreto Convent, Asansol, and I always dreamt of being a doctor like my father. You know, those were the days when patients used to come and tell my dad that you are like a god to us. And those words of the patients always inspired me to be a doctor. Whenever there was an essay competition or something like in school we used to have, like what is your ambition? I always used to write being a doctor. And I didn't think of anything else but only a doctor. I did my schooling from Loreto, very normal middle class household, that kind of lifestyle. After that 11-12 from Monimala Girls College in Asansol. And after 12, you have to sit for your joint entrance examination to try out your luck in medical. So I gave my joint entrance. My name was in the waiting list. Probably I would have got dentistry, but I didn't want to be a dentist. I always wanted to be a surgeon or a gynecologist. So that was a very difficult time of my life. My parents said that, okay, if you don't want to get into dentistry, why don't you go to South and get yourself enrolled in a private college? But I wasn't too keen. I wanted to be part of Kolkata Medical College, National, NRS. But still I went with my mom and my uncle to the South. We paid donation. I got enrolled in a private college in Gulbarga, Bangalore, Karnataka. But I didn't like it. And the very next day, we came back. And those were the days which was very, very difficult in my life. I always thought of being a doctor, and there my dream was getting shattered. I wasn't becoming a doctor anymore. Came back to Asansol, got myself enrolled in a very normal college, ordinary college called BB College in Asansol. I started doing my graduation. I got botany honors, and I hated botany. I never ever looked at a petal or a flower or a stem or a tree, but here I was studying botany. I did my graduation, and then again, you have to do something. Because one thing which my mom always told us, me and my sister, was that you need to be financially independent. Whatever you do, you really need to stand on your own feet and be financially independent. So that was there, always there. And then after graduation, MBA was very much in fashion that time. Everybody was doing MBA. So I thought, okay, why not? I also continue doing MBA. I pursue MBA. So I got my exams. I gave my exams for Jadavpur University. I got into Jadavpur University for the MBA program. And that was the first time I came to Calcutta to study MBA. MBA in Jadavpur University was an evening class. It's for the professionals. So it was from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the evening. And I used to stay as a paying guest in a small paying guest in Southern Avenue in Kolkata. And there were other ladies with me, the other girls who were there with me in the paying guest, but they were all working, either working or they were in a college. So the entire morning, the entire paying guest was empty because all the women and the girls used to go for their work. And I was alone in the house because my classes were 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. I started doing my MBA. Again, I wasn't enjoying it. The subjects of accounts, organizational behavior was not the kind of subjects which I liked, because I always wanted to study human body, biology, and I wasn't enjoying at all. So MBA was 3 years course. When I completed first year and I was going from first year to second year of MBA, suddenly one day I come across an ad in the paper that fashion designing course is being started by this institute called Birla Institute of Liberal Arts and Management Science. So in applications are invited. So I thought, why not give a try, because in the morning I'm free, my classes are from 6 to 9, and the entire morning I'm alone in the house doing not much work. There wasn't too much of pressure also of MBA in the first year. So I thought of giving a try to this course of fashion designing. I gave my exams, I got selected, I started studying fashion designing, which was like in the evening 4 to 6. So here I was doing fashion designing, and here after 6 o'clock I used to do MBA. In fashion class, I was again very ordinary, because in the family that I come from, my mother, she is a homemaker, she was a homemaker, she still is a homemaker. She never encouraged too much of fashion, how middle class families are. It was always, study fast. First you study and then, you get into whatever you want to do. So we had a very simple lifestyle, not much of new clothes except for birthdays or the Bengali New Year or the Durga Puja. And the exposure to fashion world was not given to me. We didn't have film magazines coming to our house, whether it's Bengali Tollywood industry or whether it's the Mumbai Bollywood industry. I didn't know much about it. We weren't too much allowed to watch films, except for a few English films. And the exposure to the fashion world was not there at all in my home. So I was a very naive, very ordinary student in the fashion class. And the other classmates of mine were much, they had much more knowledge. They were from Calcutta. They were much more fashionable, and they were much ahead of me. But what I had was the determination, to do something. So those days, when I was alone in the house, not doing anything from the morning, sitting in the paying guest, very, very frustrated, I used to sketch a lot. I had huge papers, we as designers, we sketch. We are supposed to make our portfolio. But that portfolio we are supposed to do in the second year. But since I was, in the first year and I didn't have much to do in the mornings, I used to sketch a lot, make designs, go to the Gariahat market, fetch some swatches, get some glitters, make designs, gowns, dresses. So at the end of first year, I had this amount of portfolio ready. And we weren't supposed to do portfolio in the first year, but since I had the time, I did a lot of sketching, a lot of designs, and I had this amount of portfolio ready. And you will not believe, at the end of first year, when I was going to second year of fashion designing and third year of MBA, suddenly a very reputed boutique of Calcutta comes to our college, and they wanted to induct an in-house designer. So they said, they came today, and after 2 days they are saying, we are coming again, please keep your designs ready. So I had this amount of portfolio and designs ready, while my other classmates, they didn't have, because we weren't supposed to do portfolio in the first year. And you will not believe it, I got the job. Even being a very, very ordinary student in the class, because of my hard work, because of my determination and focus, I got the job. And many other students in my class who were much, much better than me, didn't get the job. So that was a very big change in my life. From 10 to 2 was my work schedule time. I was working in that boutique, learning a lot, because here, in Bilans, I was in a part-time college. Fashion was a part-time course over there. It was 3 days a week, 2 hours per day. Nothing compared to the other courses we have in India, which are like 4 years full-time course, 5 years full-time course. So it was nothing compared to what they learn. But again, my determination to learn, God gave me that opportunity by giving me this job. So here I was working in the boutique, learning everything practically. How the master is cutting the cloth, how the dyeing is being done. My time was from 10 to 2 my schedule for the store was 10 to 2. But even after 2, I used to stay very close by to the store. But I never used to go back home. I used to stay in that store and try to learn everything, how the clients are coming, what they are looking for. This boutique was, they were stocking national designers. So here we had Rohit Bal, Raghavendra Rathore, and many reputed designers who were supplying to that boutique. And I used to stay there after 2 also and go through each and every outfit, how they are doing it, how's the finishing, how's the color combination, and how are they taking the measurements. So I used to be in that store even after 2, even when I was not supposed to be there. It was off for me, but I used to stay there. And 2 to 4, I used to be there, and 4 o'clock I used to go to my design institute where I was learning fashion. So one thing which I want to tell, the students and who would be my viewers who would be watching this video, that is very important, to have that focus, that determination, that hunger, to do something. You just can't afford to lose a minute. Thank God that, I didn't have a cell phone that time. Otherwise, probably, I would have got distracted with WhatsApp, Facebook, and other social media things. I was extremely focused, and this was how the life was going on. 10 to 2, I was working. 2 to 4, I used to be there in the store learning the practical knowledge. 4 to 6, I was in my fashion institute. 6 to 9, I was in Jadavpur University doing my MBA. This is how things were going. I launched my label in 1997 called Inga, the reverse of Agni. My salary was 2,500, and I used to get a commission of 7% on the outfits which got sold, designed by me. So in the festive months, I used to get a salary of around 10,000, 12,000, and in the dull months, I used to get a salary of around 5,000 or 6,000. And whatever money I used to get, I used to design a collection out of it, a 6 pieces collection or a 5 pieces collection. I used to send it to different stores all over the country. And in our business, when you are a newcomer, when you are supplying to a store, these high-end designer stores all over the country, you get payment only once it's sold, once your outfits are sold. You don't get payment before. So sometimes, when I'm sending, say, 6 pieces a collection, 4 got sold, 2 came back to me. And from another store, 4 came back to me. So I used to have so much of dead stock. And then when, maybe sale is going on, I used to give it on sale to a boutique and then probably dispose it off. So this is how, my life was going on. And Mumbai film industry always fascinated me. And Manish Malhotra, the designer from Mumbai, he kind of inspired me a lot. That time he was coming up and he was designing for films like Rangila and Raja Hindustani for Karishma Kapoor and Urmila Matondkar. And probably because my mom always, didn't give us this exposure of films, I always had this attraction towards films. So I thought, if Manish can do it, why can't I? I'll also try my luck in Mumbai. So I told my in-laws, I was married that time, and my in-laws were quite surprised because, a film world is supposed to be a bad world, and they weren't too sure of me going to Bollywood and trying my luck as a designer. So I told my dad, my dad, he said, okay, I'll come with you. So he left his patients and his chamber and he came with me. We went to Mumbai and I was trying to find out a way how to get a chance to design for Bollywood movie. I was there, I was working out, and suddenly I got an appointment with the late Sridevi Kapoor. She was pregnant that time with her second child and she gave me 15 minutes of her time. I went to her Lokhandwala apartment, Green Acres, I still remember the name. I went there with my dad with a bag full of my samples. I knocked the door, I came inside and I saw Sridevi. We from India, who are, every youngster I think is kind of a follower of the late Sridevi Kapoor. And there I was sitting with her. I coming from a very small town. We grew up, watching Sridevi movies. She's a diva, and there she was sitting beside me in the same couch and looking at my samples, and I told her that, Dee, please give me a chance to design for your movies. You are doing so many productions, so give me a chance. At that time Boni Kapoor was doing many movies, they were producing a lot movies. So she told me, Agni, I'll give you a chance, but first you design for me. Let me see how you do it for me, and then I'll give you a chance. And there my journey of Bollywood started. I started designing for Sridevi Kapoor, her personal wardrobe. This was going on, and probably after 3 months, I get a call from Sridevi that, Agni, can you come to Mumbai? I would like you to design for a movie of ours called Koi Mere Dil Se Pooche, where we are launching Hema ji's daughter, Hema Malini's daughter, Isha Deol. I was overjoyed. There I went to Mumbai, I designed for Isha. She introduced me to Subhash Ghai ji. I went to meet Subhash Ghai. I still remember, she was talking to Subhash ji over the phone, and she said, Subhash ji, I'm sending somebody to you. Aapko yaad hai, the first time when we met, when we saw Neeta Lulla, she has that determination like that, So I was very happy because Neeta Lulla is somebody whom we look up to. So I went to Isha's house, took her measurements, met Hema ji for the first time, and I designed a few of the costumes where Manish Malhotra was also a part of. And there my Bollywood journey started. I came back to Kolkata, I started doing designing for Rituparna Sengupta and the Tollywood industry. I think till date I have designed for almost everybody in Tollywood. This was going on, designing for Tollywood industry. Then I got a chance to design for Mrs. Hillary Clinton. She came to Calcutta, and I wanted to gift her one of my creations, a beautiful stole embroidered by my artisans. So how the things are, the security, when American lady comes, first lady. Now she was the Secretary of State that time, and there was a huge security, and I wasn't allowed to go and gift her the stole. So I had to give it to one of her security guards, and I thought that I'm sure she's not going to get it because there was so much of security around with dogs around. And it was a wonderful interaction with her. Of course, I didn't get introduced to her, but I could hear her. There was a big gathering. And surprisingly, after almost 4 to 5 months, I get a call from the American Center in Calcutta. My friend who was there, Mr. Jeff, he calls me, Agni, I have a surprise for you. Can I come to your studio? I said, yes, of course. Then he came to my studio and he gives me a letter personally written by Mrs. Hillary Clinton, thanking me of the stole that I had given her. I still have that letter with me, and it's a very prized possession of mine. I love it. So I went on to design for Dr. Manmohan Singh. I designed for the Indian Football Association, the Indian national football team, where I designed for the entire team, and also Mr. Praful Patel with the coach that time. And it was a show on national integration. I designed for the ISL team, Jamshedpur Football Club, where I very closely worked with the Tatas and it was a wonderful experience, to work with the Tatas and design the jersey for Indian Football Association, for the Indian football team of ISL team of Jamshedpur Football Club, JFL. And this was going on, and I always had this knack of doing something for the people, for the society. And I always wanted to use my designing capabilities to do something for the society, to give back to the society. So whenever I was doing a show of my own, it was always for a cause. I did shows in Dhaka, I did shows in Kolkata, where I auctioned my clothes and I raised funds for the acid burn victims. I will not say victims, I'll say survivors, because they are the heroes. I raised funds for visually challenged children. I did a show for trafficked girls. Trafficking is a huge problem in India as well as in West Bengal. So I created a show with the trafficked girls who were saved, and they have been rescued and saved, and they are working right now. So I've always wanted to do something for the society, create awareness through my designing. Recently I started a project which is very interesting and very close to my heart in Sundarban, in Goshaba block, where Sundarban is an area, if people doesn't know, it's an area of a lot of poverty, lot of underprivileged families are there, especially women and children. So there I'm doing a project where I'm trying to empower in my little way, teaching them stitching, the women, and also giving them work so that they can earn, and be financially independent. So I feel that, many years, almost 23 years, 20 years, I have spent on designing clothes for the rich and the famous, for Tollywood, for films, for my clients. But now, my next objective is to use designing and do something for the country, something for my country's people. And that is the reason, my clothes are always with the textiles of India. I never use textiles which is not from India. I love the textiles of India, the various textiles from West Bengal, South, UP, MP, Rajasthan, beautiful textiles. But what I want to do is that I usually, give it a very Western look. So I do an Indo-Western line, using my Indian textiles, but structuring it in such a way that it appeals to the foreigners, those who are not from India. So a Baluchari sari, a Baluchari weave, which is so beautiful from West Bengal, is always a sari, and people not from India, from abroad, wouldn't want to wear a sari. It's not easy for them to wear a sari. So what I'm doing is I'm using Baluchari to make jackets, to make pajamas, to make gowns, so that the beautiful textiles of India also, appeals to the Westerners, and they can appreciate and wear, our textiles. So I would also request my viewers from India as well as abroad that please use, textiles from India. We need to support our artisans, our weavers, like the farmers. Our weavers are also very, very underprivileged. They are not getting too much of work. So let us encourage our weavers. And I think I should come to the end of my, what I want to say, my life. To all the viewers, I feel I would like to say that, especially the youngsters from India, I would like to say that it's always, it's very important to be established, whatever you are doing, and established in a field which you love. Don't get, influenced by others that, this profession is something which would get you more money or which would get you more fame. I think you should always pursue something which is close to your heart, because that is something which you are going to live rest of your life. So you can't do something which is forcefully given on to you. So do something which you like, get fame, get name, get money, everything is okay. But please do something, for your nation. Please do something for the people of your country. We have become very selfish. We are always, in our own fields, in our own family. We are restricted to ourselves. Let us come out of our selfish world. I'm a very optimistic person, and I would love to see the glass half full than half empty. So I would like to request all my viewers, let us all come together, and we from India, the other people who are there abroad in the rest of the world, let us come together and let us build a very strong nation. Let us give ourselves in nation building and make a strong India. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity again. It was really a privilege, and I thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I would like to tell all my viewers to please like, share and subscribe to Smart Talks.